Alright, welcome to this tutorial on typography where I talk to you about using typography in brand design, using typography to create a strong brand design. And I want to start off by typography is the style of text. I've been designing for 3 years now, and I can tell you that when you don't choose the right font, everything kind of goes down the drain from there. And it's no easy task to choose what kind of typeface to use in a design. But once you get these three things that I'm going to share with you right, you're going to ultimately get the design right and hit the spot. So make sure to watch to the end because it's going to be really short. Before we get into the video, I just want to clarify something. A font is not a typeface. See, a typeface is a collection of fonts. Meaning, if you have the typeface Poppins, then it has fonts Poppins medium, Poppins regular, Poppins bold, and so on. And now that we've clarified that, let's go on into the video. The first thing that you need to take care of when you're choosing a font or typeface for your design is the target audience. Who do we want to appeal to and how do we want to appeal to them? You need to consider this. Say if I was trying to talk to kids through a flyer, I'd probably use playful fonts. If I wanted to talk to women that love fashion, like high-end fashion, I'll probably use a serif type font which is elegant and luxurious, or a script font which does that either way. Like both of them do, it's just they don't do it on the same level. That is the first one. You need to figure out who the target audience is. My way that I look for the kind of fonts that the target audience can relate to. If it's too confusing, I'll just go to a competing brand and a competing brand that has established themselves in the industry and look up their fonts and see what type of typeface they are using. Now, I'm not necessarily going to use the same typeface as them because we're talking to the same audience. I'm going to try and look for something similar to that so that I can use it in my own design. Now, the next part that you need to understand when you are using typography is your messaging. What kind of message are you passing across? Is it love or passion or something, whatever it is? You need to know the type of font that you're using because fonts have emotions too, just like colors. So you need to spend time researching this. The way you do this is you can use Pinterest. You can just go fonts that say this and that, or just type in anything you want, but it should relate to the messaging and the font. It should relate the messaging to the fonts. And eventually you'll find a list of fonts that people have curated that can help in that situation. And you find the one that works with you, that you think works with you, and you do that. Next, and lastly, we have the presentation. Presentation is just a fancy word for how the font looks and how it feels. When you're using a font on a design, you need to consider how it's going to look, right? Because you don't want to use a font that's not going to look good. So you want to consider how it looks. For example, take this post that I designed for LinkedIn. As you can see, the font that I use here is Sora. I use Sora because I like its appearance, right? Like the way it look at the way it's structured. Everything about it just speaks to me in on another level. And I believe it can speak to my audience too, because when choosing typography, you don't only need to consider what the audience wants, you need to consider what you can make them feel about that particular font. Because these luxury fonts, certain people made the audience to feel that it's luxurious and elegant. You should focus on building the perception that you want, because that is basically what branding is. Branding is the perception of other people towards your business. Now, a major part of branding is about shaping that perception. So you're the person to shape that perception. And we're done with that. So I'll see you in the next video and don't forget to subscribe.